Ooh. Oh, she can't hear me. I have to click the mute button. I admit it. I did. I love you too. Hi.
Yo.
Did you say
How are
dough?
you? Huh?
Did you say dough?
I said yo.
Oh, I thought you were speaking
Like, yo, what's up?
exciting language. I'm not.
Well then, forgot to turn off the TV.
Oh, I'm always looking around at the stuff around you, like, so that's your living room, and I never noticed that you have a TV right there ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Beep.
Oh, that's a nice little place for it. Do you use your fireplace?
Yeah, we do in the wintertime, but it's gas, you know.
Oh,
My stomach has been, so last night I made spätzle. Is that how you say it?
You did?
Spätzle?
Yeah, I think so.
Anyways,
it's like a noodly kind of.
A noodle, German noodle dish.
And
I accidentally put too much salt in.
You put too much what in it?
Yeah. Yeah. You're frozen.
Oh no, now I have a message that says my internet connection's unstable. Can you still hear me?
Am I moving?
Yes.
Because you're not moving. You're like.
Am I?
This.
Oh man. Am I moving now?
But you're not smiling.
Can you hear me though? Oh, now you're not moving either.
I can hear you.
Turn it.
Yes.
Now, am I moving yet?
Oh, you moved. Okay. It's a little laggy, but that's all right. That's all right. You're good. You're good.
Are you okay?
You're working now.
Okay. Am I?
Maybe it's me.
Oh no. Is it you? I just clicked on something, but I think okay. I'm so bad with computers. It's terrible. But is it working now?
It's working now.
Okay. Okay. It's like you're moving. Am I? Is it all moving around?
Up and down.
Can you hear me? Every day it's like, man, what day I'm gonna get this all figured out, like the computer and stuff, and I'm gonna get it to just work. Not so far. It's okay. Now I don't know, but it's all working now. It's been another 20 minutes talking about it.
It seems to be working now.
Okay, cool.
It's working. Oh, I was like, what is that?
What?
It's a blanket.
It is, and it's like a tortilla. It's so awesome. See? It's got little like, it's like a giant tortilla, and it's even round, so I can make myself, like I am the meat of the taco. This is my wrapper.
Amazing. That's amazing.
I got it for my birthday. I wrap it around myself. And then Zoe wants to get me like a little green blanket and like some red pillows, so it's like the lettuce and the tomato, and then I'm like the beef of the taco.
Totally makes sense.
It's awesome. I love it.
That makes sense.
So, are you doing good? How are you doing? How is stuff? How are things?
Good. I went out. Oh, well, okay, rewind. So last Saturday, I took my certification exam.
You did?
And I passed. So I have one more exam, technical exam, and then I can have the credentials of CPP behind my name. What?
That's awesome.
Congratulations. Yeah. Thank you.
Is that so? You have one more test to take?
It's a technical exam. So instead of answering all the questions, you actually have to physically show that you know how to take images, capture images or exposures, as they would say.
How does that work with it being all online and stuff? Like, do you have?
ProctorU. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, or I don't know if Zoe use that. So it's basically where you schedule up a testing time. You click on the link, and then there's an actual moderator or proctor who just, you know, wants to see what's in the room, what's on the desk. You have to show them your blank sheet if you're allowed to have a blank sheet, you know, and
wow.
And then at the end of the exam, you have to like rip up your, you know, blank sheet if you had taken any notes on it and stuff like that. So
interesting.
Yes, it is. And so for the technical exam, all I have to do is upload image files, and then they grade it from that.
So do you have time right now to take pictures for that exam, or do you have to take the pictures like during the exam time?
I actually, truth be told, I need to read all the instructions. I haven't. I've been kind of busy, but yeah, I do think there's only a certain amount of time you have to be alone, and you lay out all your stuff and have to. They give you a whole kit and everything, and then they tell you exactly what they're looking for. They don't walk you through the whole process, but they tell you what they're looking for. And then you have to figure out how to get that. Yeah.
Do they have regulations or like guidelines about what kinds of cameras you can use?
No, I mean, again, I haven't really read through the instructions yet, so.
Oh, okay. You're like, stop asking me stuff about it. I just told you.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I know there's a lot of people who still, you know, capture images with film. You know, that's still a thing. And so.
Do you do that at all?
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I originally learned in a dark room, but Lord, that was years ago. So, you know, I have books about how to process film and so forth, but.
I guess if you're not gonna like process it yourself in your own dark room, are there places that still do that where you could drop off your film and they actually develop a roll of film?
I assume Walgreens and CVS still have that.
Maybe.
Or places like that, you know.
Yeah.
Rite Aid or your corner drugstore. They might
so
still
crazy
do that.
How it all just kind of.
I remember. Do you remember this double?
Getting the double print, getting that? What?
Yeah. Do you remember getting doubles? It's like when. Yeah.
I got my internet warning again. Is it? Am I
working now?
Am I? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're working now. You froze up for a little bit, but I could hear you.
Okay, because I keep getting a little internet connection is unstable warning, but then it doesn't tell me anything else, and it's working. So okay, I don't know what to do if it stops.
Oh, you froze again. Okay, it's back. It's back. I guess sometimes it might freeze.
Weird. We have Cavern here today doing like school stuff. And he's not always using. Cavern is here. Are you?
Yeah, Cavern's there, and
oh, okay.
He's working on. I hear you.
Oh, okay. He's hooked up to the internet too, and so like he's live streaming Zoom calls and stuff right now. I wonder if that's slowing me down. Anyway, sorry. Oh no, it's very sad. I'm tired. I had to go to the dentist yesterday. Oh, how do you feel about the dentist? Do you like the dentist? Do you have phobias?
I used to like the dentist. I never had a cavity in my life. And
oh
then
my God.
I had my second child, and it's like she must have sucked the calcium out of my body, because suddenly I'm like getting cavities all, you know, like constantly.
Really?
And I'm like, what the? Anyways.
That's
it's all straightened out now. I don't know.
That's super weird.
Yeah.
But how did you avoid a cavity?
Or
like
maybe
your
it's
whole
just
life
aging
until
and
now? I just don't understand how you could not have one like your whole life. Eric is like that too, and my older sister, and neither of them like floss ever. But I don't understand because I floss all the time, and I went to the dentist last week and this week because I had 4 cavities that I needed fixed. You know what? And I floss. I don't do it every day, but what are they doing that they don't ever get cavities? Someone's lying to me about the
I mean,
toothpaste I use, or I don't know, but it's weird.
I never used to floss either. And then like when I started getting these cavities, they're like, make sure you floss. And it's like, okay. So I'm not great at it, but I do floss. And once a week I do like a baking soda kind of
Oh, you
mixture
do?
with my toothpaste. Just to, I mean, I don't do it all the time, just once a week, just to get any kind of like coffee stains or whatever out. And then just a regular brushing daily.
Where do you stand on the fluoride? What do you think about fluoride?
I don't know.
Like, do you use it? Is it fluoride in your toothpaste? Huh?
Oh, that stuff? Like,
yeah.
I have Listerine. Is fluoride in Listerine? Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's in, maybe? I don't know. I think it's in most toothpastes, though. And then they add it to the water in a lot of city treatments. Toothpaste is hard to say.
Yeah.
But I've heard it's a thing like everything where there's a conspiracy theory about it, and I don't know how much of it's true, like that fluoride is actually very bad for you and that it's like a poison and it's causing more harm to your teeth and dental stuff than good. But I don't know if that's true because I hear that about everything. It's like it was really good to eat a plant-based diet, then it was like, no, it's really bad. You need to eat all animal fat, and I just don't know. So I wondered what you thought about the fluoride.
I don't know about fluoride, but I do have a question. Do you because you are so health conscious, do you drink city water or do you drink only filtered water, or like what do you do?
We have like filtered water, but I don't like it. Like we just don't know what else to do, kind of. Like we'd love to do rainwater collection. Right now we just have it's city water that we filter. But we always filter it before we drink it. And I don't like doing bottled water because of the plastic waste from all of it. And I heard a statistic that we add 1 million plastic bottles every minute to landfills, just one-time use like water bottles, and oh, I hate that. So I would rather do something better because I don't know, a lot of people say like just the water not being treated is very important, and then having water that's structured. Have you heard of structured water? Do you know about that?
I haven't heard of structured water, but I know there's like all kinds of runoff and like things that, I was listening to one of those environmental podcasts and they were talking about this and how like pollutants like in another country can like get in the atmosphere and come down like rain, and then it just kind of grass hops across the globe. And so it can affect people in Alaska, things that we're doing right here, or even down south. It's just like crazy. I mean, look at the wildfires, but I mean that's a totally different subject. But that's why I was asking about the water thing, what y'all do. We do filtered water. Yeah, it feels like you don't have many options, do you?
Yeah, because you can't just, I don't think you can just get a bucket outside and collect rain. You have to do something to filter it. And then, yeah, it's difficult to find an option that doesn't create like a lot of damage in some area,
Yeah.
So yeah. I would like to do something better with the water though, because I hear a lot of very compelling stuff that makes me think that it has a really big effect on you. like the guy,
Yeah.
and also the thoughts that you think about water. Have you seen these water experiments that Masaru Emoto did? Like where the water forms different shaped crystals based on the intentions that he puts on the water. Like he took a sample of water from a fountain in Lourdes that had been blessed by some monks, and it creates these really beautiful like snowflake crystals. And then he took water from like a dam that's been polluted and untreated, and where people are very angry and upset, and it makes these really like ugly, swampy, kind of dark, just chaotic, not as attractive.
That's interesting.
It's really interesting. And I learned
What's
about
it called?
It's the Hidden Messages of Water, I think, but the guy who does it is Masaru Emoto.
See,
Yeah.
I have like little notes in my thing from you of things I need to know.
I have a notebook where I scratched. Yeah, Masaru. I think it's like Masuru, something like that.
Water.
It's really cool.
I'll Google it. Yeah. My last note from you was Netflix Sacrifice, Darren Brown.
Thinking about that over and over. Have you seen it? Have you done it?
Yeah, because we're like, we're gonna ditch Netflix.
Oh yeah?
Because we were. I mean, is it okay to change topics? I don't know.
That's fine. Yeah, talk about whatever you want.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So when we moved out here, we're like, we're gonna cut cable and just subscribe to whatever, and so with our data package, it came with Hulu and Disney Plus. We were already Amazon Prime members, so we have Prime, Hulu, and Disney. Well, we didn't have cable. We just had, the data.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, well, we'll just have those three. And then, and it seemed to work okay. And then, but we love our Netflix shows. So we had Netflix as well. And then it's just like, dude, I still want to watch, live news and whatever. So I had YouTube TV. And then like after, I think 10 months 8 to 10 months of living here, I went through our expenses of what we're spending in actual subscriptions for all these video streaming. And it's like, whoa, might as well have cable. So we went back to cable and ditched Netflix.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So.
What do you get?
And YouTube TV, because they hiked up the prices on that. So I'm a little sad that they did that, because it's like I loved having the DVR function of being able to pause and whatever. But
oh yeah, I take that for granted so much, and I'll try to pause. Like I still love football, but I'll try to pause it when there's a game just on like the channel on the antenna. It's so weird how used to that feature I got. And I would miss it too.
Yeah.
So can you watch a lot of the same stuff on cable that you would get on Netflix?
No, I mean, we can watch stuff, but I mean, we also have the Major League Baseball TV app.
Oh.
So they get you. It's like you get hooked into these shows and you love these characters and storylines and you want to follow it, or great documentaries that come out. And it's like, sometimes it's just too much and you got to be like, you know what, we can sacrifice not watching these shows or Netflix. Not that we're never going to come back again, but for now we're just going to take a break and, maybe we'll cycle through certain things.
I like it when you take a break like that and then they make like a whole 2 new seasons and they have a whole brand new storyline, so that when you do come back to it, you can binge watch for like 3 days straight.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. What's your favorite show on Netflix?
Ooh, I don't know. It depends on the mood I'm in. If I like something funny, I've been watching The Good Place right now because they just had some new episodes. Have you seen that one?
I think I've seen a couple. Is that with that blonde actress? And why
Yeah.
can't I think of her name?
Yes,
She's in
the
so
blonde.
many
I want
movies.
to
She was
say it's
also no.
Kristen something. Kristen Bell. Is that her name?
Yes, Christina
Okay.
Bell or no?
Yes, something
I don't
like
know.
that. But her.
I thought
And
it
then
was
the guy.
Bell, but then
I think it
yeah,
is. But and then it's the guy from Cheers with the Ted Danson.
yes, Sam or
Yeah.
yes, yeah,
It's an afterlife show. Like they've all died and everything takes place like when they go to the afterlife and then
yeah.
hilarity ensues. It's a very good show and it's just like a different idea.
I think I watched the first season, but nothing past that. I think we had ditched Netflix.
Oh,
But
okay. You're
maybe.
probably, I mean, you're definitely better off because if you're not watching Netflix, then you're probably doing something with your family or being present in your life somehow in a better way than I am. I do my
Oh
best.
no, you're fine. So I recently went out to see my brother
Oh, you
this
did.
past weekend,
Oh, you
and
did.
yeah, to meet my new niece Pauline and see Esther and Margaret, and it was great. It was a really nice visit,
Oh.
and I had brought my camera gear because I was gonna take pictures of their clinic and so forth, which I did. But I really had them, you know, just be present. And it's just like, you know what? Even though I would love to sit around and take pictures of my new niece and the family life and stuff like that, I was like, no, I'm just gonna be present. I'm just gonna witness it and just listen to the sounds of the home in the morning and just just go with the rhythm of their house. And it was really beautiful. I mean,
That's
like,
awesome.
yeah, it was really, I think, one of my favorite moments. And it was a little bit not really chaotic. It was just a life of a home that you hear when in one bedroom I think their toddler was crying, and in the kitchen the baby started crying, and you could just, I don't know, you could just, it's like life in a home.
Yeah.
It was
Like
really sweet. I mean, maybe for them they didn't think it was sweet, but in my mind, just being there present and hearing that, and just, I don't know, it was really nice just visiting with them
that's so
and seeing
great.
girls. So
It's so great. And that is so beautiful that you take the time to do that because I see people everywhere, like with their phones at like a concert or at a beautiful sunset. It's like, I would love to enjoy this, but now is not good for me, and you're not ever going to go back and watch it and have it be the same as it was. So I think that's
yeah,
awesome. And there
yeah,
is like so much beauty just to like getting to
yeah,
be a fly on the wall for a family that's just happening around you.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. I don't. They may not realize, because realize it, and I think I mentioned it to them. It's just like you have a really nice flow. Like I love the rhythm of your house. It's, I don't know, it's just, and I think everybody has something in their house that they may not realize, and their routines are just, I don't know, it just kind of, you can just feel their personalities, their just them as individuals working together, just vibrate through the home, and
Yeah.
you know,
I
it was
almost think about it like families like a team, like equate it to a
yeah,
football team in my head now. Like you get with a team and you're like, this team is really up and Adam, and this team is very reflective. And it's like you're
yeah,
feeling their team energy. That's so cool.
yes, yeah,
That's so cool.
yeah.
Your brother has that.
They definitely have a good energy there. So
That's awesome. How long have they been married? They've been married or at least together for like as long as I can remember now, I think.
like 5 years.
Oh,
I
really?
think
I
they've
thought
been
they've been
married for
together,
5 years.
but they've been
Well, they've
together.
been together for like 11 years, I want to say 11 or 12 years. I want to say
Okay.
something like that.
It feels like he's just been with her
She
since
told me actually,
she's
and then
been with a
now I
person.
forget. Huh?
How he just it feels like he's been with her since I remember hearing, oh yeah, Michael's old enough to be like a grown up and have a relationship. That's so weird. He's got a relationship, because we would just sit in the back and tease him and laugh at him like you do. Poor Michael. Probably drive him so
No.
crazy. But how old are their kids?
So
Have two
Esther, her
girls, right?
birthday is coming up later on this month, and she will
Oh,
be 3. And Pauline, she was just born in July, so
oh,
yes.
so little. What's it like when you see your brother holding a teeny tiny baby?
Oh my God, it's so sweet. It's really sweet. I
Oh,
mean, like, I don't know a better word to say other than sweet. It was just, I don't know, it was just really beautiful to just see them. I'm gonna get all emotional because this is what I do. It's
I do it too. You're
yeah,
good.
it's just beautiful to see kind of life happening.
That's so
So
cool.
I'm really happy for them. So
That's
they're
so
doing good.
great.
Yeah.
I am too, because it benefits all of us really for them to be happy, because
Yeah.
they're an exceptional group, because they're putting stuff out there in a big way because of their clinic and stuff, right? And the
Yeah.
stuff that they do to try to make it accessible for everyone. So it's like,
Yeah.
hey, if they weren't all happy at home, then they wouldn't do that. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's so beautiful. I love that. I feel
Yeah.
so
So
lucky when I say that's beautiful.
anyone who's in Louisville, Kentucky, check out Louisville Community Acupuncture. Their you know mission to help and build a community. It starts at home, and I certainly see that. So.
Do they do like community events where they try to get people together outside and just doing, or do they have other stuff other than acupuncture that they do?
Oh yeah, they. I mean, I don't know too much. Like, I know she's in some mom groups. They have a lot of friends. They do back in the day, pre-COVID, would do chili cook-offs, with some friends, and yeah, and then small business owner kind of things, and
Yeah. Oh, do you do stuff with that? Do you do networking because of your small business status?
not really.
Yeah.
I should if I really want to get myself out there, but I've never really had the opportunity to, because I was caretaker to my mom, and then
Oh, yeah.
you know
And then COVID happened.
yeah, and then COVID happened, and then it's just like, okay, well, now that I can take these training wheels off, I still have the brakes on because of COVID. So it is what it is.
It is. It's so wacky. I try not to focus on it anymore. But that how does your brother and his wife, how did they feel about all the COVID stuff? Like, do you guys talk about it at all?
We didn't
When
really
the,
talk about it too much. I
or do you
mean,
talk about politics at all, or do you, I imagine if you're just hanging with family, that might not be high on your list of things to talk about. But I'm just
yeah, no,
curious about their
we
position.
do. We do. I probably won't talk about it much just because they're not here to talk for themselves. But you should totally hit up Michael or Mike, as they say,
Is it
and
okay, Mike?
invite him onto your show. And
I would
because
love to.
yeah, I told him that we do this every week, so I'll let him talk.
That would
So
be awesome, especially because he's so different, at least from me, as far as I know, in most ways. And I love hearing other people's perspectives, because it's so much
yeah,
more interesting than what I have playing around in my own head.
him
But
and Margaret. I mean, they either one of them. I mean, I feel like they're definitely on the same level, consistently on the same level. So
it would even be cool, like for both of them. To, do you think you would do it?
yeah, yeah.
You see
I
my
think so.
show.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. I know they're pretty soon. Pretty soon she's going to be going back to work because she's on maternity leave.
Is she just going back to work doing acupuncture and that
Mm-hmm.
stuff?
Yeah, yeah, and then but part time I think, and so but there might be a moment in there. I don't know. Just hit them up, see what their schedule's like. You should.
Yeah.
You should.
I want to talk to more different people, but it's like that's going to be a step outside of my comfort zone again.
You know him.
I do.
You do.
I do. And really, I'm fine once I start talking to someone, even if I don't know them. You know, once you get kind of a groove going, it's like, oh, okay, we're good. We can talk. I get this.
Yeah.
But it's the first, hello, can you hear me? Oh, hold on, oh, I froze it. Oh, you know, it's just a little, I don't feel very professional at these moments.
You're good.
Thanks.
You're good.
Is he all bushy still? Does he have, I imagine him with a big bushy beard because, no? Oh, okay.
He's not clean shaven. He looks just like he was, 5 years ago when they got married. I even told him that. I was like, you look like how you were when y'all got married.
Didn't he have longer hair and a beard?
He did have long hair. He had longer hair than I did. I was a little jelly, but so, but yeah, he had long hair and then he cut it all off. And so, but then he grew it out again and then cut it off again.
It's a constant cycle of growing and cutting and growing and cutting.
Yeah.
What was I going to ask you? I looked up Agartha.
Oh, yeah?
It's so interesting and it's so weird. And it's, the more I read, it starts to get to where I'm like, are they right? I don't know if they're right. But I see how if you live in that world and you're reading that stuff and exploring it all the time, would start to get where you're like, oh my God, maybe they're onto something, because a lot of it's really odd.
Yeah, you get into a rabbit hole and you're like, I'm going to keep digging and just see what I find. And it's just like, then you're just so out of tune. It's just like, wait a second, where am I? It's like, but it is interesting. I mean, like, I don't know if it's real or not, but it is.
I don't know. Like, maybe it's real in more of a like mythical sense, and it's not really physically, literally located in the center of the earth. Maybe it is. I don't know. The world is crazy. Like, when you think about that, we're on this rock that's just hurling through space. Because if the earth stopped spinning, we would all just roll due east at 800 miles an hour, like, because we're rotating that fast. It's crazy. Yeah. We're rocketing through space all the time, like, so fast. So that's pretty crazy when you think about it. So when I think about that, it's like, is it that crazy? I don't know. I'm
like getting vertigo right now, just sitting here thinking about it. I'm like,
should I lay down now?
Like, wait a second. Hold on.
Like, you don't have to be scared. You're perfectly safe. But it's like the world is crazy. Like, the universe is crazy and life is crazy. And when you think about the things that we just knew were true, like the earth is flat and you'll sail off the edge. I know some people still believe that, but or that the earth is the center of the universe and everything revolves around us. We just knew all of this was true. And then we found out, oh, never mind. Now this is true. So and it's exciting to think that that might be true. It's a little bit more fun. And so I get that. But
yeah,
at a point for me, if I believe it too much, I'm not going to be functional in my day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be afraid to use the water, because if I learn about water pollution and how much is in it too much, it starts to feel like it's not even safe to be in the shower. And then
dude, that's how I feel. That's my struggle. And I even told you, like, this is my phone. I have like a tape here, because I'm so like freaked out about that stuff. Because you learn about things. It's just like, oh man, Big Brother's watching, or somebody is. And so I'm weird about that. Even my, computer has big tape on it.
I know a lot more people who do that now than used to. Like, I don't think that you're crazy faction at all, because especially when I'm doing a search or like I'm looking at something and an ad will pop up for a thing I was just talking to Eric about, does that happen to you? Or like It
Yeah,
just,
because EOG attracts you, right? It's like unless you
yeah.
put your phone on airplane mode or just shut it off completely, anybody can track you. You know, it's really weird.
It
And
is.
sometimes, yeah, I get a little overwhelmed and a little anxious about that. And so it's one of my daily struggles. I love
I
technology, but
agree.
sometimes the privacy issues are like a bit scary.
Do you think that at some point that thoughts won't be private anymore?
Didn't we talk about this? Yeah. It's like,
Did you?
yeah, I feel like we talked about this. Maybe or
Did
something,
we?
maybe we skirted like an idea adjacent to that. But
We talked about the privacy thing for sure. Yeah, I think maybe
yeah,
we did on this
AI
one.
and stuff like that. And it's just like
Yeah,
one of these days it's gonna be Minority Report. They're already gonna know.
like you thought about doing something, so
Yeah,
that
it's just like
yeah,
based on your history in our database, more than likely on this percentage, you're gonna choose to grab Herbal Essence rather than Suave or something like that.
so weird.
Yeah,
Like,
because you've shopped for this item this many times, most likely you're going to get this item again. So we'll continue marketing towards you.
hmm. I keep telling Zoe all the time, like, because she'll see stuff in the store and be like, I want that. Oh my God. And she didn't want it or know it existed before. And I keep telling her, like, the people who arrange the stuff in the store and the people who design the label and who pick out the lighting and the music that's going to be in the room where the shelf is that the product is, they go to school for years to learn how to make you want the thing that you really don't need. And knowing that doesn't make that impulse go away, but it's just knowing that everyone is driving you to buy, 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 buy in a certain
Target
direction.
people are geniuses. Not that I'm a fan of Target, sorry Target, but like um, because I know that they're so successful in their branding and in their marketing and how they present their stuff, and it's just like it's so shiny. And
It
I don't know.
is. They really do put it in a way when every time I go into Target where I feel like I need or really want all this stuff that I didn't want before, like food processors, that area where they have the crock
Yeah,
pots and small appliances. I feel like I want to buy a bunch of that all the time. Like, I think Eric does need that.
yeah,
They don't, but there's something about they do a simplicity thing, I think. You know what
maybe.
I mean? At
Yeah,
least that attracts my eye when I see like a shelf that's very well organized and it's just one thing and they have one sign. It says
yeah,
like
and they have
bold.
prices labeled, and the team is really good at making sure to put products back where they're supposed to. So especially if you have a registry, you have like your aisle number and whatever, you can
Yeah.
quickly go to it. They don't shuffle things about all the time like Kroger's does. I don't know about your Kroger's, but our
We have
Kroger.
HEB, so
Oh yeah. So like I don't know, does HEB do that? Like sometimes I'll go into a grocery store and they've rearranged their aisles. I'm like,
oh,
where's the cereal? So
they haven't done that in our HEB, but like we used to shop, or I used to shop at like Safeway and Food Lion, but
yeah,
they all did
totally.
that all the time. I would go to find the things that I know where they are, and then
Yeah.
they're not there. And yeah, I know what you mean
Have
because
you
they're
ever
trying
watched
to change up the marketing.
yeah, that's true. If I don't know if you ever watched that show Superstore.
Oh yeah, I
My
love
God,
that
I love
show.
that show. And there was that one time when she's like freaking out because they're like, well, it would make more sense if we move this product over here. And she's like, no, customers know this is where to get them. That was
Yes, it always goes there. And they're like, okay. I remember that one. I feel like it was charcoal.
that was something like that.
Up for
I
her,
hope
man.
they come back with another season.
I hope so too. I
I don't know.
really like it. There are a lot of shows I really like out there. But then I feel bad when I really like a show because it's like, am I just substituting watching TV for real world human relationships? But then because of coronavirus, it's like, what can I do? I'll just watch the show and then I watch
I'll
it
just
anyway.
So do you read a lot of books?
I read in spurts. Like I read a book like it all in one sitting a week or two ago, and then I haven't picked up a book since then. So I don't read a lot of, I should read more. I have a lot of books I want to read. Why, are you reading books? Are you good about that?
I picked up books that I definitely want to read, and I don't know, like I make excuses really not to read. It's like, oh, I just want to like relax and like turn off my brain, so I'm gonna watch a show. And it's just like I can still do that by reading and escape and create, but I don't want to do that. I just want to turn out.
It's different when you're watching a show because it's like, sweet, you are entertaining me. With the book, you're still doing mental processing work. Like, I get it. And it's also very difficult, at least here, even when it's just Zoe here, to have a time, even when it's just me and Eric and she's like asleep, to have a time where I'm not interrupted, where I can actually read, you know?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I get it. I should read more. I just make excuses too. But
yeah.
Like, I like doing it when I get into a book. Like, are you like that, where if you have a book and you're into it, it's like, oh, this is tough to put down?
Yeah.
What do you have that you're wanting to read right now? What kind of stuff do you read?
Well, I got this book just recently. I don't know if this is a good one to. Anyways, it's
Madeleine Albright. Oh.
Yeah, it's Fascism, a Warning, and just I really wanted to get an idea of what. Not that this would happen, but it's certainly a possibility. Just what kind of how democracy can be threatened by authoritarian kind of government. And anyways, so she wrote this, I don't know, just it came out recently.
She's still around, isn't she?
I think so.
I feel like she's been around forever.
Yeah. But I think anybody should, I don't know, I can't really endorse this yet because I haven't read it, but
it's definitely, like, even if it's not your cup of tea, I imagine it's a really useful thing to read because she's a pretty active, like, leadership figure in the world.
Yeah.
But it might be scary. I like reading stuff like that, but then it also makes me feel kind of like reading conspiracy theory stuff or following that, like, oh, the world is doomed. It's doomed. No.
No, but I think, yeah, having different points of views is always important yeah.
I really like different points of view when I'm able to not be mad about them.
Yeah.
Some of them, there was a podcast that Eric listened to, and I can't think of what it was called, but it's one of the most crazy, off the wall, it's like all of the out there, flat earth, hollow earth, all of those theories, they believe all of them. And it was just so, like, they were saying that Trump was actually a brilliant man and a genius, and everything he's doing is intentional and part of an act because he's a part of, like, the bigger organization. It just got really crazy, you know? I don't remember more, but the part I remembered was, huh? What?
Do you remember the name of the podcast? Do you remember the name?
I can't remember it. Eric would know. I'll have to get him to tell me. It was like it was people's names, I want to say. Oh. It was like two guys, and I feel like the podcast was just their names. I have to remember that. Oh, your hair looks so cute. Like, you're always so pretty.
No, I was like, I was hoping it would. That's interesting. Trump is a brilliant man. That's interesting.
I don't know about
all that.
I really, the thing that I will say that I like about Donald Trump, before you get angry, is that I feel like what you see is what you get. You know, like a lot of politicians will be like, I stand for America. And then behind closed doors, they're like, I hate all minorities and women steal. Like, you know, just they're not really being authentic. But I feel like he's just saying whatever he thinks. And it might be offensive and ill-informed and not what he should be saying, but I think it's what's really going on, you know? At least there's not a totally hidden agenda. We know I'm not going to say things that are mean, but at least we know, like, okay, you're a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
It's not a great thing for someone in charge, but I don't know. The other politicians, I just feel like are so sneaky. And I don't feel like they're going to be honest because they never are. I'm sorry. Did I say something that offended you?
No.
I didn't mean it. And take it back. I hate that about Donald Trump.
Like, you're right. I mean, politicians, they say what they need to get the vote, right?
I think it's like people who are public school teachers. Like, you start off into it and know, even if you're super passionate about wanting to make a difference in kids' lives, the way the system is, you kind of have to play by their rules, which ends up being teaching to standardized tests that kids really don't need to be taking and have no interest in. And then going, I just wanted to teach kids, but the system is making me do this and I have this curriculum, so there's really no room for my agenda and wanting to make change, you know?
Hot mess, dude.
Because I feel like I'm your bathroom mirror talking to you right now.
I'm not even really looking at the video or
really?
myself. I'm like avoiding looking at myself right now because I'm just like a hot mess.
But you're really not. You're so pretty. Like, even when you're like, I'm a hot mess.
But at what point are we gonna just be like, I'm done having to do this? Like, isn't there a point when people are like, it doesn't have to be this way? It's right? Like, why am I do want to help my community. I do want to help my neighbors and get them good education. And like, what happens down the road that corrupts an idea, a vision of what community looks like? I mean, like, I don't understand, like, money, power, I have no idea, like, how it gets to a point and then you just feel like nothing's really changed. Or if it does, you know, there's always somebody who's not satisfied, and it's just like, are we ever gonna be like, but like, I just feel like there's got to be a breaking point when people are like, done.
That's what I feel like is coming, like, and that it has to come at a point, because now more than ever, people who are out of work and who have just been financially just slapped by this whole thing through no fault of their own, like, and with no government assistance or new jobs opening up, it's like there's gonna be a breaking point for a lot of people. Like, Eric and I don't have our jobs, but we've been very fortunate to be okay and to have everything taken care of. But not everybody's like that. Like, I lived paycheck to paycheck for a long time. And if my job had just gone away, then like that would be it. I didn't have, so I know there are people out there like that. And there has to be a breaking point for that part of the population at some point. And I don't want that to happen, because you see what it's like in other countries, or like when you think about the Civil War when it happened here, like it's one of the bloodiest, most sad, devastating things ever. I mean, war is terrible anywhere, but you know, just it's like we need something to come together over. Remember, after September 11th, at least everyone was on the same page for a while.
For a little bit.
For a little bit
until we were.
But there has to be like something that can bring people together, maybe on a more community level that isn't a national tragedy. Like, it's gonna be silly, but I'm watching some of the All or Nothing documentary series on HBO.
Sports?
Yeah. We did the All Blacks one, which was very good.
Yeah, the New Zealand rugby team.
Yeah.
Jack loved that series.
That was why I watched it, because you had told me about Jack, and I think Havern at that time had been talking about wanting to play football, and we were like, no, rugby, because football, it's just the injuries and the hitting, and the rugby, because they're not wearing pads, I feel like they're more conscientious about hitting each other. And yeah, it was just very cool. But the way that it brings people together, and they drop their differences. And I'm watching one about the Philadelphia Eagles. Their team from a couple of years ago. But when they won the Super Bowl, they come home and they have the big parade. And like the whole city is out on the streets, and it's like cops and guy drinking who's dressed like a crazy person because he's like, we won! They're shaking hands and hugging, who might have had differences, under other circumstances. It was just a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Even over something like, my team won, to bring people together, to have something to dissolve those differences. And how do we make more of that? Because it's supposed to be. The United States is our team. And we believe in the, immigration and our differences and embracing everybody. But not everybody seems on board with that team right now, so need a different idea. Team Earth. Team Ramrod. No.
Team Ram, what?
Team Ramrod?
I don't know what Ramrod is.
Like a ramrod? It's from the movie Super Troopers. Eric and I say it to each other all the time. But you're not Eric. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Hi, Eric. Anyway.
He said hi, like it was a while ago. I'm sorry I didn't tell you that he said hi. But he did say hi. His hair got all long and he cut it, and it made me really sad.
Aww.
But he hates long hair, so I get it. But he looks so good with it. Anyway, are you growing your hair out again?
Yes.
What's the longest you've ever gotten your hair?
I don't know, like down to there, maybe?
Yeah?
Not very long. Not long like yours, but yeah.
Do you think you'll have it like long, like horsey hair? I feel like I have horsey hair.
No, I don't know. I would like to, but I don't know. My hair got really like I can't deal with my hair today.
Are you in the in-between place where it's like long, but it's not quite long enough to pull it back?
She cut it like this side's long and this side's short, so it's like long down to here and then short. So it's like.
Did you want to get an asymmetrical? Yes. Was that the idea?
Yeah. When it was shorter, like really short, that was the idea. So now I'm just growing it out. Once it gets to my shoulders, I'll trim it up. So it's all, or maybe like once it's past my jawline.
To get it all at the one length.
And then grow it out, layered it up, whatever. But,
I was gonna ask you something about Jada or school. Was it? How is that all working with y'all right now? You're doing online school with Jada, right?
Yeah, it's going good. I mean, it's going good. I kind of like it, actually.
Yeah?
I mean,
that's where we're at, too.
I kind of like it. I mean, she's kind of gotten her own rhythm and, but then again, like, there's times when it's just like, I got to get my work done, too.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, oh, man. So.
Is she second grade now, or is she first grade? Second grade. Wow.
Yeah.
So amazing how big they get. Crap, I was totally going to ask you something.
Well, we were talking about, like, bringing everybody together, and I was listening because I was processing all of that. It's just like they've done so many movies where, like, world at odds come together with these, whatever, some kind of moment. Seabiscuit or the Olympics, which we're supposed to have. And
I know.
I don't know if we're going to have Olympics next year.
I thought I saw an ad that said something about Olympics in 2022.
Oh, really?
But yeah, I'm not sure. I saw it once in passing, and I thought it said Summer Games 2022, but I never followed up on it. Are you having a Triscuit?
I am hungry.
Triscuit, no Triscuit.
I am hungry though. So they're gonna do in 2022?
I think so. Now I feel bad. Like maybe I should make the disclaimer more often that I have no idea what I'm talking about. Like that I'm just talking about what I think is interesting, and I'm definitely wrong about a lot of things.
By no means or stretch of the imagination, we know what the hell we're talking about here.
Yes. Like
we're just old friends talking on the porch together.
Just connected over coffee. Call us, we'll talk. Okay. The 2020 Summer Olympics will begin on Friday, July 23rd, 2021. And it ends on Sunday, August the 8th. Your birthday. So they're doing it next year. I didn't know.
They are.
Yeah, 2021. Friday, July 23rd, 2021. So will we go back to leap years after this? But then, like, will the world ever look just the same again? Because I don't know how, like, because Jada is doing online school, so is Cavern. And we're like, we like this better. It's easier not having to commute. It's kind of nice having him here. And, like, he gets to do his own thing if he needs to get up and run around. It's a lot easier. So when school time comes back around, like, we don't want to do that. Because we got this whole rhythm and this whole routine too built around this. So I just wonder, like, can they make people go back to school at some point, or will this need to be an option like forever? At least for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, because they did come out with an email from our county to say, hey, we're going to be opening up our schools. We're talking at least not opening our schools, but we're going to leave people who are registered as 100% virtual the option to come back if they want to.
Okay.
So we're going to stay virtual at least for this school year.
Okay.
So
that's what we definitely want to do. Also, I want to just do it forever. I'm like, just take him out of school. Because like with Zoe, she's doing homeschool, unschool thing. And she's actually been able to physically be with her class like a couple times a week. Just because, like, we went to our family lake house over the summer and we got all of them together with us. And so they've been isolating. So, you know, they're part of the pod or whatever now. But she's been really lucky. She's been able to do that. And I love it so much more. Like, they get such good practice at being people because they're just in a community together all the time. And they don't really fight. They've gotten so good at figuring out conflict and just how to be a person. And I feel like I never learned that in school. And it would have been very helpful.
Yeah.
Like, very helpful. So,
well, I mean, like, there's so many social pressures when you're in a school environment, like, you know, in the halls and cliques and whatever, being the smartest in the class, whatever.
Yeah.
So, it's more competing environment, I think.
Yeah. And there's just so many influences from so many places that I like know nothing about. I don't know. That's been a thing I've really hung my hat on is I just can't put Zoe in public school because I think it was really hard for me.
Yeah.
Because it felt like I worked so hard on everything academic and then school was over. And I was like, I don't just go to school forever? Oh, it's a different ball game and you have to learn how to be a person. And I kind of didn't. And I feel like I'm not grown up at all. I want kids to get to be kids too, because of all the pressures to like compete and achieve and to get a certain number and to be able to do things in this very specific way is just like they should get to be kids, you know?
Yeah.
That's stuff that they have their whole lives to worry about. And then when you leave school, it's important because you're learning stuff, but the grades that I made in my sophomore like math class don't matter right now. You know? Like just it's more about the balance.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I can see that. But I mean, like, I know there are families out there who, you know, are struggling to have their kids at home right now.
Yeah.
You know,
Even
like,
there's that too, yeah.
yeah, it's totally, you know, like, we got a tag team. We got to figure this out because right now we don't have an option to get our kids back in school, whether they like it or not. And so, I don't know.
Yeah, and then that affects their ability to work, which then affects their ability to pay for, yeah, like it's a crappy,
yeah,
what
it's
do
a
you
crap
do?
effect. So I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know if there's any good answer. And it seems really insensitive and just to say, oh, well, it's just temporary. But I mean, even though that is the reality, this is temporary. Like, that in a short amount of time, people are, you know, being evicted or, you know, losing
Yeah,
a family member. And it's just, I don't know, it's really hard. Hopefully
it's,
there's, you know, places in the community that can help, you know, individuals, families, and whatever
yeah. That's
going
the
through
thing that I feel like needs to shine and needs to get all the attention, because there are people like in our community. We have that Nextdoor app thing,
Oh
and
yeah,
people post like, I'm out of toilet paper, and someone will leave toilet paper on a doorstep. Like there's
yeah,
stuff out there that's helpful. I just feel like it's not advertised enough because,
yeah,
there's not money in that. But like there are totally people out there who want to do the right thing. Maybe there's a lot more than I realize, and they just feel just as stuck as anybody. Like, I'd love to do it better, but I got to pay the bills, and I have to figure out school with my kids, and then I have to figure out how I'm going to get to the doctor this week because I got this weird headache, and it might be a tumor, and then it's
yeah,
just life keeps happening.
yeah,
It feels like I'm on a treadmill a lot, and I see life happening around me, and I'm like, I really want to get off this thing and do that, but if I get off the treadmill, the whole thing's gonna fall apart.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So I don't know. I think I want there to be a solution, and I think it's just that we're all nicer to each other, because
yeah,
then, like, if you and just like your neighbors are looking out for each other, like, you're probably gonna be okay.
yeah. Like,
I don't know.
I feel like people need to, like, put aside their political, you know, arguments when they see trouble or they see, you know, someone hurting, or people need to be more empathetic or compassionate, you know.
Yeah.
That it's just like, okay, we may not agree on certain levels, but like, we're 100% human. Like,
Yeah. That's the
so
thing I feel like we've all lost sight of.
yeah,
And like we're always looking at the things that make us different, which is good. I mean, not in a negative way, it's not good, but it's good to be different and to go, oh, you're different from me because you bring other stuff to the table. But it's so weird that that's become a thing where people are like, I don't like you because you're different from me. Now that's, and it's just so weird.
yeah,
Like, yeah, I don't understand it. But then people are able to connect. I don't know. It's just I really want to find the thing. Like I told you last time, and like every
yeah,
time I talk now, like not just to you, to anybody, I'm like I feel like I should be doing something, and there's more that I can do to make this better, but I'm not doing it effectively somehow. Yeah.
yeah,
And like there's a lot of red tape between, like, I have hands, and I have, like, we could sell something, like we could help someone build a house right now.
yeah,
But it's like between here and there, there's, well, are they worried about coronavirus? Okay, do you have a building permit? Okay, well, is this person going to sue you if you build? There's just so much in between you and the nice thing that you want to do anymore, that I just, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that thought other
no,
than,
I mean, like, yeah, volunteer if you can. If you don't have the time, then, you know, if you have the funds, you know, support organizations that, you know, help your community or help interests that you have, I guess. And then, you know, you can always write your congressman or senator, call up your senator if you're
Have
unhappy.
you ever done that?
I've never done that. Or
Either.
city planners, or, you know, they've had several meetings recently here in Smithfield, Virginia about, you know, because it's developing, there's all sorts of growth nearby, up in Surrey, the county next door. I mean, they're, I think, bringing in more solar plant things, and so I'm sure it's going to develop a lot out there, and so there's a lot happening here, but I've never really gotten involved with all that. I don't know. I should, if I want to have some kind of say on the future of where I live, you know, what that's going to look like. So I should probably attend.
I did that once at a Buda city council meeting, and it was really interesting. But then
Really?
I'm not, yeah, I really love government and politics, but yeah, like the mayor presided over the whole thing. They had it like at the Chamber of Commerce, I think. I wanted to volunteer and like get involved, but they told me since I live outside of the actual city limits that I'm not eligible and I have to find some other. But anyway, it was very, very cool to see a lower level group of people working on it because they were actually doing stuff. You know, like they would go, hey, we want to change the speed limit because they're doing construction and 50 is too fast on this stretch of road. And the mayor was like a good old boy. He was awesome. He was like, well, I feel like that's a good idea. I don't want people to die, right? No one objects to that. Okay, cool. We're done and move on. There was less politics and there was more, it felt like, hey, we're all in the same city. Like we all want the road to be safer. So we get that, you know?
Yeah.
Very cool. And I feel like that's a more effective thing to have a group of people who all live in the same area go, what do we want to happen in our town? Versus me going, I want you in Washington, D.C. way over there to make my life better here, which is, you know, what we pay for with tax dollars. And that would be nice in an ideal world, but it's just, they don't, in Washington, D.C., know the specific area where the speed limit's too fast on the turn, you know, or they don't know the specific region where we need to make school buses more accessible because you live over there. You don't sit in the traffic like me, you know? So I would love to be involved in that government because it also seems like if you just know how to talk to people, you could always get your way.
Yeah.
It's just like if you're hanging out with your buddies and being cool.
Yeah. I should see, now you've inspired me to go sit in on City Hall.
It was just cool to experience, almost like the feeling maybe of being in a house and going, this is the life of the house. Okay. It was like going, oh, this is where stuff really happens, like for the city, where they make the decisions that make the stuff happen out there. Because, you know, they'll start doing construction on Main Street. And we're like, oh, Main Street looks nice. But then when I went to the meeting, it was, oh, they have this whole giant big bunch of funding that just went into improving the city. So this is the first step of the making Main Street nicer. And then the next step is they're going to add all these trails. And it was just cool. It was nice to see people trying to make it a better place too. Because I feel like a lot of times government is people arguing. You know? Anyway, but you should go if like you ever have the time. I don't like shitting on people, but if you're interested and the opportunity comes up, it's very fun and you might like it.
Okay. I think I will. I think I'm sure they just do it by Zoom now. I mean, like the school board meetings, that's the most that we've done is just sitting in on a school board meeting. Obviously, you know, after COVID happened, what's going to be happening to our kids in the fall. So, you know, we watched their, you know, live recordings from the school board meeting, what they decided and such. But I keep on hearing like footsteps and.
Ooh.
Oh no, I think it's Jerry shuffling about, but I don't know if he's upstairs or downstairs. So I'm trying to.
I can hear it right now. Zoe's been watching all of these like paranormal ghost story stuff things lately. So that's my immediate first thought. I'm like, maybe your house is haunted.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so my nephew, he introduced Jerry and I to this show.
Is this one of Jerry's family's kids? Okay.
Yeah, it's his sister's kid, and really, he's a twin. Yeah, but he is into, you know, like paranormal or just horror kind of films, and I am certainly not. I like sci-fi, but when you get into like, and I like thriller, but like when you get into horror and some of the paranormal stuff, I get freaked out. But anywho, he was like, well, Aunt Jenny, you should watch this show. And it was, oh my gosh, Haunted Hill House or something.
The House on Haunted Hill?
The Haunting of Hill House or something.
I feel like Eric just tried to get us to watch that. Is it a newer movie or is it a few?
It's a series.
Oh,
and it
okay.
came out, I don't know, a couple years ago, maybe.
But it's a TV show. It's not.
It's I think it was on Netflix. Haunting of Hill House. I want to say that's what it is.
Is it like a docu-series or is this a fictional?
Docu-series. It's just a series.
Oh, okay.
It was one of those things where it was like really spooky, but like you wanted to keep watching it to see what happens next. So it was good in that respect. But I definitely thought it was spooky. So, but that's me. I mean, like I got spooked out by Scooby-Doo when I was a kid. Come on.
So. I did too. I still will watch a movie. I watched this movie called The Visit, and it's just, there's a lot of scenes of like a lady crawling around in that stop motion way, like under the house. And when she's under the bed at one point, like I'll still think about that scene in the movie too much when I'm in our bedroom and I don't hang my feet over the edge of the bed because I start to think about her creepy bony hand.
Oh yeah, it's just like, oh.
Right. And I'll run and dive, and then Eric thinks he's cute and he's funny, and he got on the floor one day when I was coming out of the bathroom and started to crawl. Did this crawly thing, and I dove under the bed from the bathroom and just hid under the covers. Oh,
you know what? Jack did that
so bad.
Jack did that to me because he knows I'm a scaredy cat, and he was like crawling all backwards and looking like behind his head. I'm like, stop it! And he did it once at night, and I'm like.
Oh my God, that would freak me out so bad. Zoe will do stuff that to me too. She'll know I'm all freaked out and worked up and hide in the dark and then jump out at me. It scares me so bad.
Okay.
Oh.
Do you remember the days when our kids were like a lot smaller and they just didn't know better and they would wake up in the middle of the night because they need a glass of water or they had to go to the bathroom and they just come up to the side of your bed, not say anything.
Uh-huh.
And they'd be like, just looking at you, and I'm like,
that's the scariest thing in the world to wake up to. We're like, oh, Jesus
Christ. So scary. Or you see the shadowy figure slowly moving towards you, and it's like, oh my God.
So we did that like 2 nights ago, and I wasn't fully awake or asleep. I just saw her, and I was like, oh my God, it scared me so bad. Oh my God. And she'll be like, Mom, I'm sorry. It's just me. But, it freaks me out. Even though I know there's no monsters, you know? But I'm still like, yeah. And I can just almost feel it.
But like you were saying, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, our visible spectrum of light.
Yeah.
You know, who knows?
But then I think that if there is other stuff that's like poking me and touching me and making me feel weird at night, I don't think it's anything malicious. That's what I keep telling Zoe. Don't laugh at me. There's not really weird things poking me at night. You're like, that's Eric.
X-rated?
No, it's not like,
take your kids out of the room.
It's like, You used to be able to poke people on Facebook. Now everyone made it dirty. I don't even use Facebook.
Do they still have poke?
I don't think so. I don't know. I haven't been on Facebook in like probably a year.
It's not a bad thing.
It just, I don't feel like I ever did anything productive on it. Like I would go onto it to post something to connect with people, and then I would, oh, what are they doing? Oh, look at them. And then I've just lost 2 hours of my life, and I feel like everyone's better than me. So I stopped using, I don't use any social media, like none of it at all. I think it's great for connecting. Like if it came up where someone said, hey, I sent you, or like, let's connect on Facebook, you know, I wouldn't not say hi, but I can't spend time doing it anymore. I'm already non-productive like all the time. Anyway, not to hate on anybody who uses it. Some people have way better balance and can do stuff like that. Like some people can go and they can have one drink and they can be like, I'm fine, but I'm neurotic and I'll have like the whole 6-pack or whatever. I just don't drink anymore now. But you know.
Yeah.
Some people can do it. I can't. That's just me. Anyway. You were saying the thing. It was the school and the privacy. I'm trying to trace the haunted Hill House.
Why did I bring that up?
Because it was the haunting paranormal
Zoe was watching some scary stuff.
Oh, it was the narrow spectrum thing. That's why I think that aliens are definitely real and they're here. And you should watch Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind.
Dude, we just watched, wait. No, we just watched the Richard Dreyfuss one, like last night.
Oh, Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yes.
I haven't seen that one, but it's on our list to watch like soon.
Ooh, okay, because we just watched that last night. Is there a Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind?
Yes. Well, that one is like
no,
because the Fourth Kind is like an all fake like alien abduction movie that they made. It's like made up. But then Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind is a documentary, and they talk about Close Encounters of the Third Kind and how that movie is, according to this documentary, actually based on a real world alien encounter. And that the guy who, he was the head of something, some sort of entity that was involved in investigating the alien encounter, appears in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and he gave them like a lot of the information and like guidance and set design. Like the alien spacecraft was actually this way.
Because we watched one where it was like a psychiatrist or a psychologist like interviewing people in this small remote town in Alaska, and they kept seeing owls.
That's the Fourth Kind.
Okay, so we did see that. So we did the fourth, now we did the third, so I don't think we've seen the fifth.
The fifth is, it's not like a movie, a story. I mean, it is, but it's a documentary. And it's, do you know who Dr. Stephen Greer? I think that's his name. Have you ever heard of him?
Mm-mm.
He's been involved in government and like government investigations for many. I feel like he stepped down from the 9/11 Commission because he gave a speech and said, we're investigating ourselves, no one's being held accountable, I can't do this job anymore, I'm out, and he left. Dr. Stephen Greer. He's an American UFOologist. And he founded the Center for the Study of Extraterrestrial Intelligence and the Disclosure Project, which seeks the disclosure of allegedly classified secret UFO information. Anyway.
Okay.
Like I thought all the alien stuff was just garbage and that it was all crazy people seeing things, like just seeing things because they wanted to. But then I listened to that guy and I don't know. Like, I don't know why he would lie about it, because he definitely is not gaining anything from it. Like, it's been a danger to him to disclose it. And he just doesn't seem like he's lying. I don't know. And I want to believe that there's other stuff out there. But he doesn't think that they are malicious. That was the whole thing I think I was trying to come back around to, is that he was saying that he definitely 100% believes aliens are here, we've communicated with them, and that they're not a threat to us at all, and that they're more worried about us being a threat to ourselves.
Interesting.
It's very interesting. It's very good.
Okay. Okay. Steven Greer?
Yeah.
Okay. I have to check them out and watch. We'll watch the Fifth Kind tonight. Well, maybe not. I don't know. It's probably not family friendly.
We watched it with Jada's very little. We watched it with Cavern and Zoe. Okay. And there were a couple moments where they talked, like, it doesn't show anything graphic, but he talks about having other people that he was very close to take their own lives because they felt so stuck, like, I feel crazy because this is all real and happening, but everyone's denying it. So, and that part was like sad for me.
There's some parts in the Fourth Kind where I was like, this is weird, when they're like levitating and was like,
I really wanted for that movie to be like real. It wasn't. It said it was based on actual events, but then like I looked into it and it's kind of very loosely. Anyway, what do you think about Alien? Tell me what you think.
I think they're real. I mean, I definitely think, like I said, I think last time, they could be even on a microscopic level, and you know, just some foreign organism that we haven't yet discovered that will eventually evolve into something else. And then it's like, oh, we found a new species. It's just like, oh, that actually might have been part of the, I don't know. But as far as like little people walking around or whatever, some intelligent alien being, I think it's possible. I mean, like, there's this argument I heard on, I don't know if you ever watched History Channel, but, you know, Ancient Aliens and stuff like that.
Yes.
I'm a huge fan of that show. But there is like this one thing, it's just like where we came from technology, it jumps so much from, you know, just having like wooden frame airplanes to like actually like metal, and then from like World War I and II to jets. It's like, how did we get from there to there? And putting a man on the moon, it's pretty remarkable. And then you kind of wonder, it's like, is there other stuff going on? And like even Steve Jobs going into that cave and having a little siesta, and it's like, okay, well, did he, I don't know, like, I don't know how people just, it's amazing, like, you know what I'm trying to say.
Totally.
Like everybody's walking around with a smartphone. So,
and this is like, a smartphone has so much more computing capacity than the entire space shuttle and the space shuttle program back on the ground that launched the guy to the moon. Like, I think a graphing calculator has more capacity than that did. And I always wonder about that. Like, how did that happen?
Like, how did we get from there to there? It's just, I don't know. You will often wonder.
It's a wild leap in technology. And did we
not to say that humans aren't brilliant,
but where do the thoughts come from, you know?
But yeah, it is interesting how some of these things, I mean, I don't know.
It's got to be something, and the people who are creative say it like that, the creativity, it's something outside of me. It's just coming through me. I'm just a channel. Maybe it's like that people are just more open to getting the information or something.
Yeah, maybe so.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
In this documentary, they say that there are actual alien bodies at Roswell, and the guy says that he saw them. And that's the part where I feel like it gets a little silly. But maybe it's true. But that's a big stretch for me to go, okay, there's a little tiny man flying a saucer and he crashed. Why would he crash? I don't get it.
I kind of wonder if like pilots have ever like encountered, you know, things up
they
there.
have. I've heard a lot of their stories.
I mean, there's like actual recordings and, you know, official recordings from the government. And so I think it was probably on one of those ancient alien things. And
was it the thing that
like
looks like a Tic Tac
pilots.
that they keep calling it Tic Tac? Do you remember a
Yeah,
video?
like a Tic Tac, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we saw the same thing. So
yeah.
There's got to be something going on.
Right, because if you, right? I don't know how much you heard the pilot talking about the guy that was actually flying the plane that saw it. He was on the Joe Rogan Experience and he talked about the whole thing. And
really?
Yeah, it was very cool because he's a naval officer and he's otherwise like a very level-headed, like I follow the rules. This is where I went to training, like everybody that I've known who's successful in the Navy. And then he's like, and this thing happened and I can't explain it. And it's not like anything I've ever seen. I don't believe in the UFO alien stuff. That's never been a part of my theory. But that thing happened and I've never seen anything like it. And there's nothing that I know that can explain what it is.
Wow.
It's so.
Yeah. I mean, there's just unexplained things that people or a mass of people have witnessed, and it makes you wonder. It's like, well, perhaps.
You look at the ancient civilizations, like Egyptians.
Yeah.
What were they doing? Because they had a technology, but it just doesn't like anything like
corners and angles and moving like massive granite.
Yeah, and the way that they aligned the pyramids to like line up with the stars and with planetary rotation and orbit, how did they figure that out? Because to us, or at least I always think of them like they're cave people. Like they were thousands of years ago. They were obviously
like stupid. How did they understand basic, astronomy and physics to be able to plant that out geometrically on land when they don't have the capability of having a bird's eye view? Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Like, they would have to have a brilliant mathematician back then.
Yeah, or just a brilliant mathematician that's also like very grounded in reality, going, let me observe the world around me and be open to ideas. Because like Galileo, what was that, the 1500s that they killed him for believing the earth was not the center of the universe? But like the Egyptians had it figured out already.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know everything they knew, but it seems like they had a good understanding of planetary movement and stuff. And
it's crazy.
It's just very interesting.
It is interesting. I just yeah.
And then when you think about, what is time? Oh, that gets really slippery for me, because time is a human experience and different things, like apparently dogs don't experience time like we do. Well, then what is that? And you know how you,
like, how do dogs not experience time? Because 5 o'clock, my dogs are like, hey, I'm hungry. You better feed me, human.
But they don't like look at a watch and go, it's been 3 hours. They just have an I'm hungry signal.
Yeah, they have that circadian rhythm that they're like, oh, I'm hungry. It's dinner time.
Yeah.
But it's at the same time.
But they're always in the moment, because they don't have the whole contemplating the past and the future. Like they're still shaped by it. And then there's, how an hour when you're at the dentist can feel like a decade, but then when you're doing something awesome, like at the beach, an hour feels like 5 minutes. Like that's a real, that's a real thing. Like it's a real phenomenon. Like the time is actually different for you in those. I read this whole paper by Einstein called The Unreality of Time, and it really just made my head go, because it feels like time is a thing that we invented, and we see the passage of it, but we don't ever see time itself. And then when you move to different locations and you do different things, it affects time. It's now I've just said a lot of things that don't make sense. That's what happens when I start thinking about time not being
quiet
real.
because I'm like processing this, because this is the same guy who's like, time travel and bending of the universe is possible with wormholes and stuff, and it's like he just never got to that point.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to imagine time in
It's a weird thing to think about.
Okay, do you know the movie with Amy Adams? And you actually have it. I forgot the name of it.
It's not The Notebook. No, I don't know why I thought of that.
No, it's the one where it's like aliens come. They look like big squid things.
Is it Interstellar? No.
She's a language expert. She's a language expert, but they're trying to figure out why the aliens have come. Oh, what's the name of it?
I feel like I know what you're talking about.
Do you mind if I get on my?
No, not at all. Because I need to know. It's not Interstellar, though, right?
No. It's
okay.
Amy Adams. Gosh. Sorry, I bring this up because in the movie, Arrival.
Oh, okay. I've never seen that. I've heard of it.
That's a good one. If you want to, I won't give it away. I won't tell you if you haven't seen it, and I don't want to spoil it for others. But if you want to explore time and how we sense time, that's a good one. Arrival's really good.
But it has squid people in it.
It has
I think that it has squid people in it. I think that's why I never watched it, because I thought it was just going to be an alien movie where the aliens were big monsters and people shoot them.
You really need to see it. It's not like the whole, I mean, it's more like, movies like Signs with Mel Gibson. It's more thoughtful process where I don't know. You just got to watch it.
Okay. Because I didn't like Signs.
Okay, well,
but I get the idea. It's just because I don't like Mel Gibson.
It's about the language barrier between the humans and these aliens, and what the message they're trying to share. Is it good or is it bad? And so it's about Amy Adams, her character, and the team around her trying to figure out what's being said. And anyways, and being a language expert, she goes native and starts to understand.
Okay.
Without memorizing, I think. So.
I feel like miscommunications are the source of most of our problems on Earth already.
Yeah.
It's true. Zoe said that the other day too. She was like, "Oh my gosh, it's like telephone." Like, yeah, it is. Yeah. Even when you're talking to someone, the telephone game. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. What were you going to say?
I have another question. I have a question for you since we're bringing up time. Explain déjà vu.
I don't know. But I don't know. That's a weird thing.
It happens to me more often than I realize. I'm like, I feel like I've seen this play out, or like I remember hearing this happen, and then that just happened. This is very familiar. Like I dreamed it up before, or it's very strange when it happens, and it's just like, why are we saying?
I don't know. I wonder about that all the time, because the feeling of I've definitely done this before is very like valid and real, because I mean, how else do you determine what's real? But I wonder if it's like you've been here before, and that like you've worn this groove sort of into the fabric of space and time, and because you've been here many times before, you're feeling the gravity of everything happening over and over, and the deja vu is just, you realize, I don't know.
If you're going to make that argument, then you're almost saying that we don't have free will. Like, if I've been
I think you do, but it's like you develop these patterns. Like for me anyway, it's easy to get into an unconscious pattern of just doing things a certain way. And then I think about it like I've worn this groove in a rock, like a stream running, and that you can reroute the stream. It just takes being very present, and it takes a conscious effort to keep moving that way consciously and intentionally every single day until you wear a new groove. I don't know. But I don't know. That's a tough question. Like if it is like all happening for a reason, and I have this life path and it's all unfolding as it needs to, then do I even have any role in it? Like, do I affect change at all? Or is it like something somewhere knew that was going to happen?
So like, yeah, because it's like, okay, I'm talking to you right now. You're my best friend for like 30 years. But are you really here? Like, are you really a person, or am I just playing out my mind in a matrix, and this is just all a dream sequence?
Right? Because some dreams seem so real.
Yeah, and like, is this just a simulation of what reality is supposed to be?
Maybe.
And this is just my chunk of time. Is it really? Anyways, like,
it's weird because like look at how people use virtual reality goggles. Like Zoe, all of her friends have them now, and you put them on and you're in that environment, and it's like, whoa, this is the future. What's to say we're not doing that already? You know, the way people are living their lives online now. What if there was some like physical or other reality that was even bigger than us being in the physical bodies, and we like attached ourselves to this? You know?
Remember Bill Nye, the science guy?
Yes, I love Bill Nye.
He has a podcast, and he spoke about this very thing. It's just like, is this our reality, or is this a simulation? So
did he have an opinion about it?
Yeah, he has like, you know, a panel of people that he's talking to and trying to say, well, what's to say that this is all kind of like a game, a simulation where, you know, there's a storyboard already made from our history, and then we're just, I don't know, not really.
Did he at the end say, I think we are a simulation, or I don't think we are?
I don't remember. I listened to it about a year ago, I want to say. I listened to it last year. But
I like him a lot. I like Neil deGrasse Tyson too. Do you like him?
Who?
Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Well, I've never heard of him. Okay.
Oh,
we're all like...
oh, I'm so excited that you've never heard of him, because you get to find him now. He does a podcast called Star Talk. And he wrote a book called Astrophysics for People in a Hurry, which I have not read, but I've heard very good things about it. He makes very big topics like time and the nature of reality and astrophysics accessible. Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Oh, is this the universe guy?
Yeah. Or the cosmos?
Okay. Yes.
So you do know who he is then?
Yes, I definitely know who he is. I didn't place the name yet. Okay, yes.
Yay, I like him so much. But then when he starts talking about like aliens, he completely loses me. And I find that so interesting, because it seems like he's very intelligent and very open-minded, but he's like closed off that possibility.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, maybe he said different things. I haven't listened to an interview probably in like almost a year, but the things I've heard him talk about before have said there's no evidence of like there being something other than the physical reality. Like I have to, as a scientist, say that this is all that there is, and that there aren't aliens because we would have found evidence or proof of them. And it's just so weird that he's closed that off. Anyway, I might be saying that he might have completely said all this other stuff.
What is valid evidence for him then? Like, does he need to actually see the body? Like, I don't.
Maybe, because like as
do they like a doubting Tom? Sorry.
It is, because on one hand, he's like, there's obviously something in nature that tells you, like the human body, to make a baby. Like I didn't know how to do that, but I still did that, you know?
Yeah.
And there's some sort of intelligence that makes like an acorn grow into an oak tree, but that there's a science behind it that explains it. And he doesn't have that evidence for aliens, I guess. I don't, and I think the whole, if they're everywhere and the technology exists and the universe is so big, we should have found them by now. And we haven't.
Looking for something that's not cyclical, like, are we talking about chaos? Or are we talking about just a passive being? I don't know.
I think when he's talking about it, he must be talking about a physical being that's from another world, has come to this planet from somewhere else, and he's never seen any evidence of that.
Like that, and see, that's what confuses me. It's like, what would be valid evidence, like for him? I'll have to listen to it.
You should. It would be interesting to get to talk to him. I hate it when I start talking about what I've heard other people say, because then I feel like I'm probably butchering it, and maybe that's not what he meant at all. But he was very clear about, yeah, I don't think they're out there, because we would have found them by now.
There's a lot of people who don't believe in aliens.
So maybe that's kind of like the whole, if you keep reading into the conspiracy theories long enough, they all look real, and then you see them everywhere. Like he's a scientist and he deals, and these are the facts, and this is what's actually physically here, so this is what I deal with.
Yeah.
It makes sense he would come to that conclusion in that way, I guess. It's just such an exciting realm, I think, the mind and like what it does and whether or not what we perceive is what's really out there.
So when NASA, was it actually NASA that put out that golden record that, you know, that they stuck onto one of our,
I think so.
Yeah. It's like
to a probe or like
if we really didn't feel like aliens existed, we wouldn't have made a freaking gold record or whatever.
This is what people are. There's a little drawing of like a man.
I mean, like, that's interesting.
Is it that we just don't want to be alone? Because I look at that for myself all the time too. Like, do I just really want to believe that it's real? But then I kind of don't want to believe it's real, because then it's uncomfortable. Like, because if there are aliens out there I don't see, what are they watching me do? Are they watching me all the time? Are they friendly? Are some of them dicks like people can be? I don't know. Have they evolved past that? I hope so. Just opens a lot of questions that I don't have an answer for.
Yeah. There's an alien sitting on my couch right now, just kicking back.
Wouldn't that be so weird?
Right now. Just kidding.
So weird if we're like a sitcom for the universe. Being crazy.
Maybe. They're like, hey, look what they're doing now.
I feel like someone did that.
Humans.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. That's why I like talking about the big stuff like that, but then I reach a point where I'm like, I just don't know. And I feel really dumb. I'm just going to go back to what I know. Everyone always asks me if this is moonshine. It's not. It's water.
Like looking at it, I was very curious what this big jar was. I was like, is she going to bring out a pickle? Like, it's like show and tell. And I'm like, ooh, what's the teacher going to bring out of the bag?
I wish I had show and tell. I don't have anything.
Coins in there?
Huh?
Like coins in there, pickles, sea monkeys, who knows?
That's how many coins I have.
How many?
0. The end.
The end.
Anywho. Yeah, I went to the dentist. I just lost all of the things. Like, hello, now I'm just here. How are you today? Do you and Jerry talk about things like aliens and conspiracy theories? Like,
I think when I was last time we really kind of got into that was when I went through my Agartha phase, like, and I was like really pondering whether that could even be possible. And I told him about it. I don't know. He's not much of a talker. God bless him. But
Aww.
he just, he talks obviously, but
Eric is like that too. I think he relies on me for conversation most of the time. Like he's always listening, but Eric takes a long time to decide how he feels about it and then formulate a response. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, that's how Jerry is. And then I'm like, well, just say something. Like, I just need to know that you're listening.
Are you listening?
Yeah, he's like, I'm listening. It's like, well, do you have anything to say? I mean, yeah. It's like, oh my God, never mind.
So much like Eric. Maybe it's just a guy thing.
I don't know. I've heard some pretty chatty guys, so.
Okay.
It's a personality thing, I think. Maybe it's, I don't know. So Jerry, huh?
I was going to ask how you and Jerry met because I don't even know that I know that.
A friend, mutual friend. I feel like I have to sneeze. I feel like I have to sneeze. It happened. So I feel all squinty-eyed.
You keep touching your nose like a cokehead or something?
No.
I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
Jenny's
not a cokehead.
In anyhow.
You made it weird.
Okay, reset.
How you met Jerry? Yes.
Yeah, so I was part of a business network group. Oh. And when I was working as a studio manager at a photography studio, and so I would go in the place of the owner just to, network, talk about the business, and hopefully gather up leads and share referrals, that kind of thing. It was with BNI. And anyways, one of the requirements is that you meet somebody in your chapter over lunch or have a meeting and discuss your businesses, what you do. And so that way you can be better educated when you actually give referrals, what that person is actually looking for as far as a qualified lead, yada, yada, yada. And they do the same. So I met Dr. Kevin Steele, and he's a chiropractor. And he was like, are you dating anybody? And he's a married man. And I'm like, no. And at the time I was going through a divorce, I was separated, and I was like, I'm really not looking to date right now. And he's like, oh, I have a friend. He just moved into town. It's really nice. I really think you guys would hit it off and kind of thing. And I'm like, I don't know. And he said, he just retired from the military. And I was like, time out. How old is this guy? I was like, just retired. Geez.
How old do you think I am?
I know. And, thank goodness for his wife. She came in. It was over lunch. And she saved the day. She was like, oh, are you talking about Jerry? Oh, he's a sweetheart. He's like a big teddy bear. He's wonderful, blah, blah, blah. You should totally meet him. And I was like, I'll meet the guy, but, I'm not. So anyways, he called me. I was at work. When you have your work phone voice, you're like, yes. Hi, this is Jenny. Thank you for calling. It was very like that. It was very much like that, where I was like, okay, 10 o'clock, Starbucks, Coliseum Drive. We'll meet there. Thanks for calling, kind of thing. It was just very cut and dry, no emotion at all. And when I had the babysitter come over, she's so sweet. I was like, okay, here's the backup plan. You're going to call me in an hour. and say there's something wrong with Jack so I can leave. and then I'll pick up dog food. I know we're low on dog food. So anywho,
does Jerry know all this part of the story already?
Yeah, I told him later on. It's just like, I had a whole backup plan. I didn't put on makeup. I was like, here, I'm gonna put my chakas on. This shit'll work, whatever. I'm just gonna go out for coffee and just meet this guy, whatever. Oh, and then it turned out to be coffee, and then we walked around, we had lunch, and we walked around, and it was just really like, I wasn't looking for any, and even to this day, it's like at that time, I really wasn't looking for a partner or any kind of relationship, but it was nice to have a companion to talk to. Yeah. And he was just like sitting here. I can remember sitting across from him over lunch that day we met, and I looked into his eyes and they're beautiful and blue. And I was just like, there's something about him I feel like I could trust this guy. And it was just very calming. And he felt the same way about me. And so, anywho, yes. And so it began. Our friendship bloomed, and then when I was ready, it's just like, took it to the next level. And so Jerry likes to remind me that it took weeks until we actually had our first kiss. And I was like, I wasn't ready. Yeah. So
that's so cool. It's almost like as soon as you stop looking, like, okay, now I'm here. Hello.
Yeah. Yeah. Even the idea of meeting somebody seemed terrible, but he was really a nice guy. Still is. So, it's not like he's just a monster, people. Like coming down
like nothing would be funnier to me right now than him walking by like Frankenstein.
I know. He's tall. I mean, he's a big guy. So
he is. It's so funny to me that he's every now and then Zoe will be like, "How tall is your best friend? How tall is her husband? That must be really interesting." Like, I guess, yeah. Because how tall? He's like 6'5" or something.
Oh no, he's only 6'2".
Oh, only 6'2".
He's only 6'2", but I think he, over time they shrink. So everyone shrink. I'm gonna be like, I'm 5 feet now, so like by the time my kids have grandkids, and I'm gonna be
you're gonna disappear.
I'm shrinking. The fact that I've had so many cavities lately, I guess like my bone density is like.
That's weird. That's so weird that right after you had Jada, after you had the second one, not after Jack.
No, not after Jack, after Jada.
That's very interesting.
Those girls.
She's very sweet and very quiet, but she's slowly leeching the life out of you.
I know, girls suck the life out of you.
Oh my God. Like every friend that Zoe has is a boy. Like she's the only girl in her little school group.
Yeah.
They have sleepovers all the time. And it's such a thing to be like, you can't have a sleepover because it will kill me. And it would definitely kill Eric. Like just thinking about that and having to have that conversation with her is so hard. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Because, like, you can't explain to her, because she sees it as, you don't trust me and my friends. Like, well, no, it's that you guys are changing, and if we leave that door open, something could happen. If we just close the door, it'll never, ever happen, and we know you're good. Because if there's something happen, it would be weird forever, and it would change the way they hung out. And one of them's her boyfriend now.
Okay, well, yeah, then that definitely...
Yes. Like when she started this school, I think she was still only 10. She's been there for almost 2 years, but she was still more of a little kid.
Hey, she's 12 or 13.
She's 12. She'll be 13 January 1st.
I can't even imagine Jack having a girlfriend soon.
Right?
Or whatever. Yeah, just whatever.
It wasn't, it was on my radar, but it just still felt like that's out there. And like, it's so hard to give her the whole, you make your own decisions and you decide ultimately what's okay with you and not. And you can't make out with him. But it's just not like, oh, it's so soon for that.
Sorry, I have to laugh because I've known you since this age.
I know. That's what makes it so weird. I'm like, I remember being this age. That is weird.
God, you brought like a whole can full of like notes.
Paul Trent wrote me notes. Paul Trent. I wonder what that guy is up to.
What was it? Pearl Jam concert?
Oh my gosh, something like that. I never snuck out. Like he wanted me to sneak out to go to like Pearl Jam, or it might have been Rage Against the Machine. I don't know. But I did. I was so boy crazy. Oh my gosh. So boy crazy.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Yeah. So she's a lot like me. Like a lot like me. So I'm in big trouble. And that's why Eric is like, absolutely not. Like, he's ready to meet people at the door with a shotgun. Like, he's like, nope, she's not ready to grow up like that. Nope. Yeah. So it's weird. It's weird. I think it's good that I can have conversations with her though. Because, like, my mom and my dad, like, not dumping on them at all.
I have a question. Do you think your mom might have been boy crazy at this age? Have you ever asked her?
I haven't asked her, but I bet she was.
You think so? She's a looker.
My mom?
She's really pretty. Yeah, your mom.
I just think about her like my mom. So it's like, I mean, she is.
Yeah.
But I just don't think about her like that.
Yeah. Well.
She is.
Anyways.
Jimmy thinks my mom's hot. But, I bet she was, because do you remember the Schwan Man? I mean, that's still a thing, I think, delivering the frozen foods. Do you remember my mom talking about her personal Schwan Man? Okay, you never were there. Like at our house, every time the Schwan Man would come by, she would get really excited because the Schwan Man that came to our door was Chuck, and she thought Chuck was very cute. And she would, oh, Chuck is here. The Schwan Man's coming. Everybody, the Schwan. So I think she's always been like boy crazy. But she just puts a hat on it really well, you know? And she would talk about like how like when we'd watch football games, oh boy, that Texas player is cute. Like, Mom, what? He is. Or I would go on a date with George Clooney. So I bet she was. I really bet she was.
Your mom.
She's so reluctant to talk about her crazy youth. And I wish she would.
Because that would, it's like maybe
Maybe the apple didn't fall that far from the tree. Just saying. Like, she just admitted to me in this past year that she has smoked marijuana in her life. I'm like, well, duh. I figured she did, because like she grew up in the 60s. Her and my dad used to go camping all the time. Like, they were big time hippies. Yeah. So I always just assumed. But the way she tells me, she's like, oh, well, I did grow up in the 60s, so I did try, marijuana. And the worst thing it ever did was make me go, yeah, man, that's cool.
Your mom literally said that? That's hilarious.
She did, and she gets all quiet, like people are listening. I did try the marijuana. Like, aw, that's so cute. I would love to know about that, because I've heard stories from her siblings, and I know she was crazy. But she's
had epic parties. Like, I knew she liked to party because we always had something going on at the house growing up, people coming over and everything. But then when I like meet her older friends that knew her in her early days in the Air Force, they're like, your mom threw some parties.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I was like, oh man, they have all the giggles and stuff.
You've gotten to meet friends of hers that she knew in the Air Force?
Oh yeah. Oh, cool. Monica and Kay, they knew Mom way back in the day, and I remember when I had gone out to Texas to visit, and they were both there, and they were just like, it was so cute. It was like they were 20, 30 years old again, just giggling about old times. It's just like, oh, do you remember that pediatrician? What's his name? Joe? And my mom's just like, almost like blushing. It's just like, who's Joe?
Oh my
And
gosh.
they're like, oh, this pediatrician. And I guess he was like the looker of the group or whatever. But they would talk about the, parties and like, oh God.
That's so funny. I don't think about your mom and like, because your parents were both retired military, right? Didn't she
Yeah,
retire?
when I think when we met, my mom had just retired. I think my dad retired a couple years later after we met, because he was
Okay.
working at Randolph. So
Like I think about your dad being the preacher and your mom kind of being the preacher's wife because that's how I knew them. But I don't ever think about like what they were like before they had you and Michael and when they were kids, like in the Air Force. Did she join the Air Force when she was young, like right out of high school?
well, I mean, she went to nursing school.
Okay.
She got several. You know what? I don't understand it. Back in the day, it just seemed like people were able to get several degrees, like college degrees. I'm like,
Right?
so she was a double major. She got her master's and everything, and so she went into the Air Force nursing school, and yeah, 20 years of service and retired.
Wow.
So
That's pretty awesome.
it is pretty awesome because there wasn't a lot
Yeah.
of colonel nurses or female colonels out
Yeah.
there at that time, and she was a
Yeah.
nurse. And I mean, she never took her husband's name. She kept her maiden name.
Because every time you would call my house, it would show up Blaskovitz or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
I remember that.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Interesting.
So she was a trailblazer, man.
It's like I know that, but I just don't think about it because
Yeah,
it's like it's Mrs. Sobin.
yeah. Everybody knew her as Mrs. Sobin,
Mrs.
but
Sobin. Yes.
yeah.
That's very cool. Did she ever go? Well, no, duh, you guys traveled around a lot. So did she go into like combat zones? Does she have crazy war stories like that? I mean, I guess there's really no way of avoiding things that are traumatic in the military as a nurse because you're going to
Yeah,
have to see injured people.
yeah. She said the worst cases that she would see were burn victims.
Oh, goodness. Um, that makes me feel bad. I don't mean to just drive away from it. I care about the burn victims. But what was your favorite place that you guys ever went? Let's look over here. Look over here. I just start to feel so bad about humanity if I think too hard in that direction.
You're
Not good at changing the subject.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make light of anybody who's had a traumatic experience. Obviously, it was just
Yes.
quickly. Let's go this way.
Look over here.
That
Look over
was
here.
the entertaining or amusing part of that, not the actual trauma victims. So, anywho,
Yes.
I digress. I really liked, just our time in Europe was really nice.
That would have been so cool.
Yeah.
Do you remember a lot of that really well?
I remember, yeah, I mostly remember my time in Germany just because I was older by then. So my memories are more, I remember Madrid and stuff, but I don't remember the city life as much as I remember Germany's. So, like, I guess in my mind at a young age when we were living in Madrid, like my environment, my world was home, and it's not until you mature and you realize, oh, there's more than just a home. So, yeah.
Cool.
But I liked it.
I feel like that had to have benefited you, like as being a balanced human, you know, like, because do you feel like you got a better cultural perspective from getting to see other stuff, you know?
Yeah, I definitely feel like yeah, because I mean, like, let's see, from till the age of 10, I think I was only in America for 2 or 3 years, two or
Oh,
three
wow.
years. Because, you know, the first, what, 3 years of my life, I was in Philippines.
Y'all.
I want to say 3 to 5, we were in Washington. And then from basically 5 to 10, we were overseas. So it did definitely force me to be able to adapt, and yeah, and just learn different languages, and
so cool.
and even like the friends I had, like my first best friend was Maria, and this is in Madrid, and she lived in the apartment underneath me. So if Maria, if you're listening, where are you?
Oh, man.
Anyways, but we didn't even speak the same language, you know? And
Yeah.
able to just have fun and play together, and yeah.
That's why kids are so awesome. They don't see those
Yeah.
barriers in the same way. That the guy that I told you about, Daryl Davis, who has met a lot of people who are members of the KKK, and then they subsequently leave the KKK because of their friendship with him. He's Black, African American, whatever is appropriate right now. I don't want to offend anybody, but he grew up outside of the US until he was 10 also. And then he said because of that, he didn't have any context for like understanding people being racist against him. So it really surprised him when he came here. But that it was really cool being overseas because everybody was just all mixed together, and that wasn't a thing that existed as a kid. Anyway, he just said that he had that perspective because of the traveling and getting to see different cultures and going, oh, okay, you're like this, but we're still cool. Oh, you're like this, but we can still be cool. Like all of his friends were from different backgrounds, and it just didn't occur to him.
Yeah.
So
I definitely feel that. Yeah.
That's very cool. Because you also said that you appreciate having people with different perspectives.
Yeah, perspective, diversity, and in demographics, and yeah.
Why do you think people get mad when you challenge their beliefs? You know what? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess it's because it's personal to them. It's almost like this is how I was brought up, you know.
Yeah.
You know, shaking or that structure that you know, I don't know.
Okay. Because I get like that too. You know, like when people question, why are you well, I like talking about it now, I guess. Yeah. But it is upsetting to have someone show you like obvious evidence that counters your current beliefs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like learning that not eating any animal products at all isn't really a feasible way to move forward as a planet. Because I really wanted it. Everyone should eat vegan all the time. But then learning that's not really a solution either. Like it's more about balance. But that was upsetting to have to concede that maybe I wasn't right when I thought that being vegan was the answer, you know? But why is that upsetting is what's weird to me, because at the end of the day, I can see the benefit of having a more open perspective, and I'm a happier person.
But there's, you know, a sense of conviction of self, like, you know, but you move outside yourself and see the others and how it affects them, or kind of like the, you know, how you came to that, you know, resolution. You have to move outside of yourself, and that's why it's so personal, and people can get really defensive.
I feel like they use it as an identity at a point too, you know? Like
Yeah.
I am a vegan, you know, for someone to challenge who you are
Hmm.
is upsetting. But then it's also good because then you grow and you learn something.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just wondering. Because we could all be more open-minded. I could still be more open-minded too, like all the time. I feel like I'm a terrible person if I think about it too hard. But that's like anything. Like if you just look at what you're doing wrong, like,
I definitely, as far as balance, I think there's a fluid, amount of thought that it's like, okay, you go out into the world, you experience, but then you have to like practice self-care in order to process all that, and just maybe that's your time of growth for an introvert, where maybe someone who's an extrovert, it's just like, you know their growth time might be spending time being reflective, and then they go out into the world and have those aha moments in isolation with the world. And I don't know how it works, but I assume there's that kind of balance where you have to you can't always be out there, because
yeah,
then yeah
then you're not taking care of your house,
then you're not,
your human life.
there's you get out of whack and stuff, so.
Yeah, and my thoughts are not staying here today. Where did crap?
Where did it go? Is it behind that picture? I don't
Is it? I might have been just wondering where thoughts come from. I don't know. It's just
conversations.
well, that's where thoughts come from.
No, I just love our conversations. It just feels like
Oh,
old times. Like we can do this all day, people. Like
I know.
we could.
Oh my God. I know. I totally like I don't talk to people on the phone very much now. And even back then, but like we would talk on the phone every second my parents would let me. Back before there was like another phone line. And
Yes.
before they're like, you're trying I've been trying to call you. Well, Catherine's been on the phone again. Sorry. I would have helped you. Anyway, I can't remember. It felt like it was very important. It's really not though. It was something about thoughts. And like, where did thoughts come from? And then why do we get attached to them? I don't know. It doesn't matter that much.
Obviously, I have like kids under the age of 10 because I'm all like my butt. They come
You're
from
like,
my butt.
oh.
Thoughts come from my butt. That's just me having kids. Thoughts are poop. Poopy thoughts.
They evaporated to a big dookie cloud. I like making your mom jokes to Zoe because I'm her mom, and it always makes her go, "What? Wait a minute!" And I'm like, "Ah, exactly." I kept telling her, "Your mom goes to college." Anyway,
She's
I
like,
didn't go to college. College was like so hard. I admire people so much who like do college now because I just couldn't do it. And like I'm
your roommate
objective
was kind of a nightmare. I
a
remember
little
that.
bit.
I
A
remember
little.
visiting.
Yeah. Oh,
She was
did you?
a, she was a star.
I wonder how she is. The last time I saw her, she was sitting on the sidewalk at Southwest in handcuffs while the police searched her vehicle. And I didn't see her after that on campus.
Whoa.
So I don't, she definitely, like, I don't want to say her name now because, like, I'm totally selling her out, but she definitely smoked pot at the time, like a lot of pot. So I wonder if that was why they were investigating her. And that was the year that I was there, was the year that it was still Southwest Texas and it was
Yep.
still a party school. And
Yep.
that guy got so badly beaten that he died. And they were like, okay, no more partying. Do you remember that?
No.
Oh, yeah. There was a guy in a fraternity. and he had like crashed on a couch, and there was hazing, and they beat him up, and he, yeah. Oh, I can't. That
What?
was, yeah. It was the year that I was there, and I remember hearing about it happening, and
Wow.
them just saying we're a dry campus now. And then that, I think, was the final straw that pushed them to be like, we really need to change the school image, because
Rebrand. Yeah.
it was known for being a party school. I thought, and that was what I thought of, or how I thought of it when I went there. But then,
Yeah.
like, one of Zoe's friends' parents transferred to Texas State from Arizona because he was like, it's such a great music program.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess it's worked. But yeah, that was crazy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
No.
I was not there in college. I was burnt out from high school. I was so burnt out, and I shouldn't. I don't know. I couldn't make myself do it. I don't know how people do it. And you keep going back for years and years and years, and it's so much money too. Are
I
you?
took a break.
Do
I
you
took a
have?
from college after UTSA was like, obviously you're not taking your academics very seriously, so you need to leave campus. Because my before, and I was like, I remember coming home and my parents were like, "You're on probation. You know that? You know what that means?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it means like I don't want to be here. So like I just want to work for a while." And so they let me. I'm glad I did. And then I came back and went to community college, which I wish I did in the first place. If if I wanted to go through that, or if anybody, kids included, wanted to just take a little hiatus, I can understand that. But at the same time, like, I feel like there's so much pressure to get your college education. Like, I know, like, if you want to be a certain occupation, yeah, you're going to need college for that.
Yeah.
But if you're just, I don't know. I guess it all depends with what they decide to do with their lives, but
Yeah. Community college, I was way more successful there too than like a university. I don't know
I
why.
was, well, and it's smaller classroom sizes, which helped me. And it was just a confidence booster to say, yeah, you can do this. And then when I went to four-year college, I was taking a course that was like a master's class in my bachelor
Oh,
years.
geez.
And it's like, I can do this. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Which community college did you go to?
Went to Northwest Vista.
You did?
I did.
I
I
took
did.
one class there before I joined the Navy, or two
Did you?
classes. Yeah, I
Oh,
did. And I had to leave early, and so I like, because they moved my ship date, and I told my teachers, and they all gave me a 4.0, even though I didn't finish the class, just
yeah.
which I thought was very cool. I mean,
Nice.
like, I had done the work before then, and I
Yeah.
was on track to complete it. It's not like they were just giving it away,
Yeah.
but I thought that was very cool of them to be like, all right, you're gonna serve the country, you get a 4.0.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Nice.
but I liked it a lot. It felt like a way better, because then I did a community college up in Washington too after I was out of the Navy, and
Mm-hmm.
it felt like a way better step between high school and like a university, because
Yeah.
it was, now it's my own thing, but it wasn't being in this massive lecture hall where no one really knew if I was there or not, and it just
Yeah.
mattered if I turned in the paper at the end of class, or at the end of the term, or if you show up for the exam. And I
Yeah.
did that in some of my classes, and I still passed them. And it made me say, why am I spending all of this money and all of this time and effort to just sit around and show up for an exam? I don't know. Other people might get stuff out of it. Like, I know there are amazing teachers out there. That was just me.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
love school. Like, I would love to go to school forever. But that setting, it was intimidating. And it was such a big change from my parents are driving the boat and I'd make no decisions to now you make all the decisions. I made terrible decisions. Like, I ate garbage, I drank all the time. Oh, terrible. You know me.
I think we all, well, maybe not all of us, but at least you and I, we didn't make our best choices. Like, so I remember eating. I would I was so hungry. I was like, I'm just gonna get a big loaf of bread and a block of cheese, and then do my dinner for the next 2 days.
Oh, at least you had it over 2 days.
Yeah,
You're just gonna sit and eat it all at once.
It's just like, here's my big loaf of Italian bread and a block of cheese. Dinner's ready. Like, seriously, me. That was my jam.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, I guess I don't mean to dump on it for everybody. College is great for some people. I don't know. My mom and dad said it like it was the best years of their lives. Like, really? I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know?
I mean, like, I liked it. I enjoyed it. But I mean, like, I feel like now is the best time of my life. But, you know.
Isn't it always now? Because all we ever have is now.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Such a weird thing to think about. But then when you think about how your whole self isn't just yourself in the now, it's all of yourselves that span throughout time. But is that a whole bunch of me's lined up, or is that one collective me that's just like amorphous moving through space time? I don't know. I think a lot of times I just want it to be more exciting than today I have to pay my bills online. I'm going to scrub the dish. Life is brilliant, you know? I just want it to be more exciting all the time.
It's interesting to think, like, when we're going to be 20 years older or 30 years older, what we're going to be like. It's just like, we're going to be the same people. Well, obviously, we're not going to be the same people, but I mean, I think about it, it's just like, wow, I still feel like that when I talk to you sometimes. I still feel like that high school girl is just kicking back and talking, you know? Like, we're just driving, cruising around San Antonio. It's like, hello.
So fun.
Yeah, well, that's fun. Like, obviously, like, we're grown up, we have families, blah, 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 life, and but I don't know. It's neat.
I think it's valuable to not grow up. Well, maybe you grow up all the way, but then like you don't like bury the child part of yourself. You know, like I still will laugh at like kids movies with the kids, and I genuinely enjoy them. Or like play silly.
Obviously.
Oh yeah. But I still love being childish. Like when people say my wife, I do the Borat, my wife, just because it makes me laugh. If other people don't always know that, and I'll shout it and I'll be like, what? And so that's just little things like that that are not professional or mature. They make my life better. Do you really love Borat?
Really.
I got really big. My face is crazy. Sorry. It's because I'm so excited whenever I get to yell it. Makes
oh my god.
It does make me so happy. Oh. I like to do things like when I went to a Redbox one time, there were these two ladies, and they were very animated and loud, and they were taking a long time to pick out their movie. So I just wanted to see how close I could stand to them before they noticed. And I got like right here, and then they noticed, and I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I just wanted to see what you were looking at, Twilight." And then they were like, "Oh, you gotta watch Twilight." And they talked to me for like 5 minutes about Twilight, and I was like, "Oh my god." It was really fun. Just dumb stuff like that makes me feel like this is more interesting. And my wife. It's really hard.
I feel like you would be one of those.
Huh?
I feel like you'd be one of those people who kept like a puppet in their pocket, so if anything was really like boring, you could like just bring the puppet out. And
it all the time. And now I have googly eyes I keep in my bag so that it can have a. It's for you. It makes Zoe so mad when she's like watching a show and it's all teen drama and I feel like it's too much. I'm like, she doesn't make her laugh, but it makes me laugh. See?
It's awesome. Oh my god. That's awesome. I could totally see you doing that. I was like, you have a puppet in your pocket.
I always have two. Puppet in my pocket.
Puppet in my pocket.
Oh my god.
Jerry's came down.
What?
Jerry just came down.
Hi, Jerry.
What time is it?
11:30.
It's already 11:30.
Oh, that's 10:30. Oh. Okay. I have a clock right there, but I still sat here and I was like, so if it's 11:30 for you,
I didn't.
10:30 for me. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's like making lunch, so
You
I guess
could
I'll
go.
push off.
It would
Go
be
push off now.
so amazing if you had a roll. Bye, I guess. Okay. I wish you had a rolly chair so you could really just and then you'd sail.
Always a fun time hanging out.
Oh, it's so fun. I love doing this so much. Have a Chris Triscuit. No risk it, no Triscuit.
Dude, you need to reach out to them.
The hearty snack.
Oh,
It's not a cracker. It's
spread
a
with
Triscuit.
care.
And it's made simply.
Hmm?
And there's something about the weaving of the cracker.
Yeah, shred and weave the wheat together and
That's
bake
me.
to golden perfection. Look at the packaging. I mean, that's a solid box.
No broken Triscuits in this box.
Nope.
Fresh
good.
stuff.
Halfway
Fresh.
eaten already, guys. Stuff is
Is
good.
that how you bought it?
Get your box of Triscuit now.
Get your half-eaten box of Triscuits. New from Jenny. I take existing Triscuits and I eat half of the box, then send it to you. Oh.
Oh. Well, I'll see you next week.
Yes, I'll see you next
Okay.
week.
Okay,
Thank you,
awesome.
thank you, Jerry, for letting me talk to Jenny. It's very nice. I'm saying it really quietly because I don't want him to be like, ah.
No, I don't think.
It's okay. Anyway.
You're making a lunch, so.
Now in my world, all you eat in your house is loaves of bread and blocks of cheese. Like that's totally what he's making in my world. And I know that's not true, but I just want to keep imagining it.
This is why this could work out. Like maybe I can like bring in a cheese sponsor. You can bring in Triscuits.
You could. And then we would have so much cheese. Maybe we could get different cheeses. Brie is good.
Mm. I like brie. Sorry, your screen like totally froze up.
Am I making a weird face?
Your screen.
Is it still
Yeah,
frozen?
No. Oh my goodness. I'm sure anyone who's listening is totally frustrated with us right now. They're like, God, are they just going to keep going? Just laughter?
I always like hearing other people laugh. Like when Joe Rogan talks to Duncan Trussell, because they're old friends, they'll just start telling stories and laughing. And I don't get the stories, but it's just like it makes me laugh that they're laughing. Anyway.
Oh, there you go.
I hope it's
Well, I
joyful.
hope you're laughing with us.
Or add us, whatever brings you joy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There you go.
I know you
All right,
have
ma'am.
to go, but I'll talk to you next week.
I'll talk to you next week.
I can't dance like that. I'm too white.
You're
the
like
chicken lady. No, you gotta sit down. The chicken lady. Really? You gotta sit down. No, I can't stop. It's too fun. It's really hard to stop once you start.
Oh my gosh. Hey, you're gonna be the chicken lady. That's awesome.
Oh.
Just sit on the rooftop and be like,
Oh my God, I'm crying. Oh.
oh, great way to end the week. Always, Catherine. Kate, always a pleasure to be here with you on a Friday.
I love seeing you here too. And I love you in a not creepy way. I'm like, I love you.
Oh.
Anyway.
No.
So,
Bye.
well, have a good weekend and stuff.
You too.
And I guess
I'll be thinking about you doing the chicken lady
you
thing.
should think about it anytime you're like bummed out or bored. It's really fun.
Bye.
Okay. Well, it was really fun talking. You already said that, and I'll talk to you next week. And I can't not be awkward. So.
Talk to you then.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. Oh crap. Okay. Bye. Did I do it? Okay. Okay.